الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فليس له من هاد وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير وإليه المصير وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ونبيه ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الأمة اللهم فأجزه عنا خير ما جزيت نبينا وأمته وصل اللهم وبارك وسلم عليه وعلى آله أجمعين وأما بعد. Beloved Muslim brothers and sisters, around the 5th year of the Hijrah, there occurred a battle that was one of the toughest that the Muslims had to face. That is known as the Battle of Al-Ahzab or Al-Khandaq. These are two names given to the same event, Ghazwat Al-Khandaq or Ghazwat Al-Ahzab. The reason for this being such a hard time for the Muslims is simply due to the fact that Banu Qurayza, a Jewish tribe within the Medina, had colluded with Quraysh and many other tribes within the Arabian desert to form a massive army and head towards Medina and invade it and extract the Muslims and Muhammad and do away with this deen once and for all. So this is like a final blow to this deen. A knockout punch, so to speak. And Muslims were not ready for that, did not expect that. Not only that, they were faced with an army, an enemy army of about 10,000 persons ahead of them at their gateway. 10,000 by the measure of the time, that's a massive army. If you remember, the first military confrontation between the Muslimin and Mushrikeen being Ghazwat Badr, what were the numbers? Al-Mushrikeen were slightly under 1,000, and Mu'mineen were slightly over 300. Now we're talking, Uhud almost similar. Now we're talking a few years later, 2-3 years later, 10,000 people are knocking at your door. Very difficult. Instigated by Banu Qurayza over Medina. The problem was that Banu Qurayza had a treaty, a signed treaty with the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam of joint defense over Medina, of coexistence in Medina. Muslimin, Yahud, Mushrikeen, all in a civil society, living in peace. Everybody worships as they please. But when it comes to the safety and security of Medina, they have to come together, they have to pitch their forces together, they have to pitch the resources together to defend the Medina of Allah. Now when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is out, digging the trench based on the advice of Salman al-Farsi, as we know the story, and in Medina, in his back, there are traitors acting. It took more than a month. And by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and only by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did this crusade fail. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is heading back to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwarah with his companions. And he makes an order. He says, you shall not pray us until you've reached Bani Qurayza. Until you've reached Bani Qurayza. You shall not pray us until you have reached Bani Qurayza. And they march heading towards the Medina Munawwarah. And as it so happens, they could not reach Bani Qurayza in time before sunset. So they realized that the sunset is going to come before they reach Bani Qurayza. Then they split into two groups. One group decided, you know what, we are going to follow the order of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and we are waiting until we be in Bani Qurayza, then we make al-Asr. After sunset. That's the order. The second group said, well, when the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made this order, he probably envisioned that we can be in Bani Qurayza by time to make al-Asr prayer. But he probably didn't envision that we will miss the time for al-Asr because of our delay in our march. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. So we have to do it in time, and they prayed Asr along the way. So now we have to reverse positions about the same issue. They went back to Bani Qurayza and they did what they did with the traitors, but the question was asked of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Which group did the right thing, right, Rasulullah? The ones who followed the letter of your order and waited, or the ones who did the Asr at the time of the Asr before it passes by? And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did what? Approved both groups. He did not reject one in favor of the other. He said both groups have done right, have done the right thing. Allahu Akbar. This is really a lesson for all of us. And this is really the main point I want to bring to you, inshallah, today, by virtue of a few examples of the Sunnah and Nabawiyyah, to tell us how Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam handled situations as such, situations of diversity, situations with differences in perceptions or opinions, so to speak. As he traveled with his companions, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, long travels that most likely for battle here or there, there would be a situation wherein there is a call for qasr salah, shortening of the salah, right? So the 4 rak'ah salah becomes only 2 rak'ahs. Qasr. A license that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given a traveler to ease some of his hardship. During these travels, again, some of the companions would make the qasr. Other companions would make the 4 full rak'ahs for Dhuhr, Asr, or Isha. And again, the same thing happens. They go and consult with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Rasulullah, who did the right thing? And you would say, both did the right thing. Subhanallah Rabbi. Both did the right thing. One did the qasr, one did the full salah. You will face that in your modern day. You will find yourself, for example, traveling by airplane, and you may argue, wallahi, travel today is not what it used to be 1400 years ago when it was in the heat of the desert and on a camel back or something. Now it's a very comfortable trip. I really can do the salah without qasr. Fine. Then do so. But do not condemn your fellow Muslim brother who does a 2 qasr instead. Because both of you are doing the right thing. One is taking the license that Allah has given him, and the other is showing a little bit more muscle. He's saying, I know I have a license, but I can do more. This is good. This is also good. But you also have to remember that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ أَن تُؤْتَى رُخَصُ كَمَا يُحِبُّ أَن تُؤْتَى عَزَائِمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes when He gives you a gift or a license, He likes you to use it. In the same way that when He orders you of some heavy lifting, some orders, that you would also carry those heavy loads. Right? So, you can take that license. Again, a situation wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not reject one opinion of a group of the Sahaba over the other, but accepted both accounts. Let's go to his own practice, alayhi salatu wasalam, in his worship. What did he do? He used to have, for example, the habit of doing 2 rak'ah in the time of duha. Duha, a very special time, wherein there is a surah in the Quran. وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى. Allah is making a vow with this time, duha. Duha is the time between after sunrise and before dawn, maybe around the time of maybe 10, 11 in the morning. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to make 2 rak'ahs during that time. His companions, his wives, would comment by saying, we saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam do these 2 rak'ahs so consistently that we thought he would never let go of them. He would never abandon those 2 rak'ahs. He would stick to them consistently for a long time. But then, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would give them up for another long time. And the same people would say, he would let go or abandon those 2 rak'ahs to the point that we would think he would never go back to them again. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Think about that. And try to ration and see, couldn't Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stick to the 2 rak'ahs of the duha for his entire life? Of course he could have. There has to be a reason for him, alayhi salatu wasalam, to do it for some time and give it up for another time. And the reason is just the same as the previous examples I brought to your attentions indicate. The reason is that he wants to tell you that you can do something, or you can do the other. And all is good. And all is good. When you want to be rigid or narrow-minded, when it comes to matters as such, you will say, no, I don't like that. There is only one right way of doing something and everything else is wrong. Why? You are then essentially narrowing your own scope or spectrum to your own vision, which may be very limited, by the way. And there may very well be other views that can outweigh your own. Give yourself a chance to listen to those. Give yourself a chance to benefit from the knowledge of others about matters. SubhanAllah. There is no need to make narrow that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made broad. That which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made broad for all of us. Remember that when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked about the group of youth who came to his wife's asking about his worship. You remember the story. And when the wives of the Nabi ﷺ told the group of youth, this is what the Nabi does, it seemed to them that it was not much. They thought, oh Rasulullah, he must be doing way more than that. When they were told about his practice, ﷺ, they said, well, you know what? This is Rasulullah ﷺ. He is forgiven for all his past and future sins. We are not like him. We're going to do more. Decided that they're going to do more than Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did. And you know the rest of the story. One would say, I will stay during Qiyam Layl at night, every night from now on. The other would say, I will fast every day from now on. The third would say, I will not marry, to focus on my worship and not be distracted. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam brought them and told them the wisdom of this deen. The wisdom of this deen. First off, he told them, أَمَا وَإِنِّي لَأَتْقَاكُمْ أَوْ لَأَخْشَاكُمْ لِلَّهِ. I am the most fearful among you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to establish that ground rule. Nobody will fear Allah, nobody will be more pious towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than alayhi salatu wassalam. أَمَا وَإِنِّي أَصُومُ وَأُفْطِرُ وَأَقُومُ وَأَنَامُ وأتزوج النساء. كم رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. I fast some days, I break my fast others. I stay up during the night making qiyam layl. Some nights I sleep through others. I marry women. If you want to be of my, according to my sunnah, do as I do. Otherwise, you are not part of me. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. That is the essence of this deen. That is the essence of this deen. And remember also that the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam tells us and teaches us that this deen is tough. إِنَّ هَذَا الدِّينَ مَتِينٌ فَأَوْلَ فِيهِ بِرِفْقٍ. So tread easily when you get into matters of deen. Tread easily, softly. فأول فيه برفق. Don't overkill, don't overdo. فما من أحد غالب الدين إلا غلبه. يعني if you try to beat the worship of other people in matters of the deen, you will be beating yourself, you will be defeated. If you can do this much, the next guy will be able to do twice as much as you do. Another guy will be able to do 10 much as time. 10 times as much as you can. And so on. So what do? You take off the deen, that which you can sustain. That which you can sustain. This is why sallallahu alayhi wa sallam teaches us. He says what? خَيْرُ الْأَعْمَالِ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ. أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ. The best of the deeds are the consistently maintained ones, even if they are little. Even if they are little. Doesn't matter. You don't have to make 50 rak'ahs during the night to have worshipped Allah. If you decide that you make 2 rak'ahs, but you keep with them for a long time, it's much better. It's much better. قل قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم توبوا إلى ربكم واستغفروه فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا هو. الحمد لله رب العالمين أحمدك رب العرش العظيم حمدا يليق بجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن سيدنا محمدا عبده ونبيه ورسوله عليه أفضل الصلاة وأكرم التسليم وأما بعد. On one occasion, one of our youth was chatting with me about التطوع في الصلاة يعني the sunnah of الصلاة. And we came to Salat al-Dhuhr. And he said, what? And I asked him, what is the sunnah of Salat al-Dhuhr? Young man in the mid-20s. Parenthetical statement here, the youth are always zealous about their deen and anxious to do the best they can and have idealism in their minds that may or may not be suited for long-term practice, by the way. Close the parenthetical statement. So I said, what is Sunnah al-Dhuhr? And he said, emphatically, Sunnah al-Dhuhr, 4 rak'ahs before, 4 rak'ahs after. And I waited and looked at him, smiling, and he realized that maybe this is not the full answer. He said, is there more? And I said, yes, there is more. He said, what? I know that it is 4 rak'ah before and 4 rak'ah after. That's all I know. I said, okay. Seek any reference of fiqh. Any reference of fiqh, fiqh, sunnah, whatever book you choose. And go to Sunnah al-Dhuhr and see what hadith are narrated there. He said, tell me. I said, okay, I will tell you. You will find that Sunnah al-Dhuhr, according to hadith an Ibn Umar, radiallahu anhu, is 2 rak'ahs before plus 2 rak'ahs after the Dhuhr. There is a hadith sahih عن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما عنه وعن أبيه. 2 rak'ahs before, 2 rak'ahs after. Right. There is also a hadith عن ستنا عائشة رضوان الله عليها that says that كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم used to pray 4 rak'ahs before Dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs after Dhuhr. Allahu Akbar. That's it. ستنا أم حبيبة بنت أبي سفيان هذا حديث صحيح that says Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم used to do 4 rak'ahs before Dhuhr and 4 rak'ahs after Dhuhr. This is what the young man knows. So you have for Sunnah al-Dhuhr the option of doing 4, 6 or 8 rak'ahs. 2 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 4. See? All of which Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. All of which he did. Why didn't he stick to one? Again, to give us that diversity, to give us that flexibility of doing whatever that we can of his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So indeed the answer here is not A, B or C, is not 4, 6 or 8, but like you do with the multiple choice, there is always option D, all of the above. Right? All of the above is the correct answer here. You do 2 and 2 is fine. You do 4 and 2 is fine. You do 4 and 4 is fine. The idea is that, I want to bring to your attention, that fiqh, matters of fiqh. Fiqh is not, again, a mandate, is not a directive from Allah. Fiqh is what? Fiqh is the understanding of human beings of the text of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Quran, of the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Their interpretation thereof. That's what fiqh is. All scholars who put their effort into these matters, they seek to interpret to the best of their ability what they think the hadith means, or what they think, or what they understand from the ayah, is the intent of the ayah. And this is why the lesson to learn actually today, if anything is to remember, is the fact that there is never a single ruling when it comes to matters of fiqh. It never is a single answer. There is always multiple answers. And they all may be good. You have an Imam Abu Hanifa saying a ruling about a mas'ala fi fiqh, and the Imam Shafi'i saying something else. It's expected because we human beings, we have different mental activities, we have different knowledge base, we have different language abilities, we have. So we will get from the same text multiple attributes. So just accept that. Accept that as being an option that is indeed intended for this deen. And why would it be intended for this deen? Because this deen is intended to be valid for all times and for all places, since it came 1400 years plus ago to the day of judgment. And if this deen were rigid, it would have frozen in time and space. It would have not gone beyond the Arabian Peninsula, and it would not have been able to adapt to issues that keep evolving as our lives evolve. Finally, I will give you a very contemporary example that applies to this very same idea. Late 80s, if I remember correctly, maybe early 80s to mid 80s, somewhere there. Sheikh al-Azhar was Imam al-Akbar, Sheikh Gad al-Haq. And at that time there was an issue back in Egypt about the interests of the banks. Very heated argument, very heated discussion. People were debating it all the time. And he formed a committee within the Azhar, and he came up with a study. The conclusion of the study is that the bank interest is haram. The bank interest is haram. Don't take any interest from the bank, from money that's put in the bank. 10-15 years later, in the same position, a Sheikh Tantawi, same position, Sheikh Azhar, formed another committee, studied the matter from different facets, consulted with experts in economics, world finance, Islamic finance, and came up with a conclusion that said what? You guessed it. Interests from the banks are okay. SubhanAllah. These are two scholars at equal standing that came up with two rulings that are diametrically opposite to one another. One is saying it's haram to take interest from the bank. And one is saying it's halal, go ahead and take it. Subhanallah. What do you do, my fellow Muslim brothers? You do what the Nabi ordered us to do, which is استفتي قلبك وإن أفتاك الناس وأفتوا. Consult with your own heart. That's what you have to go by. Not this shaykh or that shaykh. You listen to the arguments, you weigh them in, you have a brain, you can make a judgment call for yourself. You will say, I am more comfortable with the idea or the ruling of this shaykh or the other. And you go with it so long as your heart is clear with it. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والأحياء منهم والأموات إنك يا ربنا سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم ذا الجلال والإكرام لا تجعل لنا في هذا اليوم العظيم ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا يسرتها وقضيتها بعزتك وجلالك يا رب العالمين.